Hi there, this is S.J. Thomason with Christian-Apologist.com. Today I'm going to answer the question that I have asked somewhat recently on Twitter. Why do so many atheists devote so much time here on Twitter to equating humans with apes and other animals? We're distinguishable by our intellect, morality, abstract conceptualization, apprehension of aesthetics, etc., yet they'll refer me to Bobo the ape, who can count 2 bananas. Stephen Steen noticed that particular tweet got a lot of attention, so he said he dubs this the Great Triggering of December 2019. Does everyone realize we are discussing if animals are relatively smart compared to humans, using phones and computers connected by 3 distinctly different wireless technologies, streamed as light through thousands of miles of cable, etc.? Everyday Humanists responded, because humans are apes. It is our taxonomic classification. And then he sent me a Wikipedia link to hominids. Interestingly, I don't consider Wikipedia terribly reliable because it's self-edited. Pete Van Veen decided to be philosophical. He said humans aren't apes, but apes aren't apes either. A bunch of inert matter can't make consciousness, but consciousness can create a bunch of inert matter. Someday we all wake up and realize we've been living a dream. Very deep. Adam says, how do you know that do not all the little parts in atoms and molecules allow for a car to run? You should rethink your philosophy here with a teeny bit of physics and science 101. Thomas Underdahl, a Christian, said that's human taxonomy. Divine taxonomy makes us separate from primates. George Patriarchos thought that was amusing. He said that's brilliant, although I think he might have been a little sarcastic. My Estes Dragon also sent me that same Wikipedia link, and he said, I did not equate humans to apes. Humans are apes. And OK Boomer says, it seems plausible that all the ape species that evolved, one, Homo sapiens, would pull out from the rest of the pack in the abilities based on consciousness level. Would have been interesting to study the levels of consciousness of near cousins, and he referred me to a YouTube video. Sooner alum said that, in fact, the ability to ponder one's origin, or if there is indeed a creator, is unique to humanity. This is true. Origins, meaning, morality, and our destiny. These are things that humans can ponder and do ponder, and that is what distinguishes us. Ian Harrison said, no, we are a member of the great apes. Please don't equivocate like that. And Paulus Minimus agrees, yup, that's non-negotiable and in our DNA. We have a common ancestor back in time. Lila Spaskova says, humans are created by God and only atheists are from apes. Sure, she was being humorous. Jeanette said, Darwin wrote in his My Life and Letters, not one change of species into another is on record. We cannot prove that a single species has been changed. She added, knowledgeable people find teaching Darwinism to be mindless repetition of antiquated falsehoods from the mid-1800s. Trey Graves wrote, to answer my question, because if they can convince themselves that they are the same as animals, they can act like animals, ignoring the moral conscience that weighs on their heart. They can even say that those pains of guilt are just responses that any moist robot or human animal would naturally feel. It's the perfect cover to do whatever they want. As a PhD scientist, it pains me to see science turned into such a brutal philosophy. But there you have it. If you have an issue, any issue, don't worry. Science lives on a pedestal with authority and has the issue covered. This is interesting because it compares with a video that I recently did called Naturalism of the Gaps. I've noticed a lot of times that when science leads us to certain questions, which the more we know, the more questions we end up asking, atheists often will respond with, well, we don't know the answer to that yet. However, science at some point will let us know. This is science of the gaps, or naturalism of the gaps. For example, I've heard Matt Dillahunty say something similar to this. We look at the fact that time, space, and matter has a start date, so what came prior to the start date must have been immaterial, timeless, intentional, and all-powerful. Those are the descriptors of God. However, they will say, well, no, we just don't know. Nathan Orman said, watch Coco cry over her lost cat and let this blow your mind. It did mine. Well, I'm not saying that animals do not show any empathy. I suspect they do. Jack Torrance added, we aren't different from animals. Animals are capable of empathy and they are smarter than we understand. Of course, that's a faith position on Jack Torrance's part. assuming that they're smarter than we understand, with the evidence to show it not present. Gustavo Gomez said, God made the ostrich to remind us of people like you. Ooh, ouch. Adam said, well, many who studied the comparison may find we are not unique. Simple answer, according to Daniel Smith, they choose to. There's nothing rational about it. They vehemently oppose God and the truth he represents. They will twist themselves into logical pretzels before admitting God exists, because to do so would find them guilty. Aaron Ra, who's a famous internet anti-theist, says, do you equate lions with cats? Or is it a fact that lions are cats? Of course, this is a human taxonomy, something that we have given to the lions and the cats. Adam wondered if I've debated Aaron Ra. Well, no, I haven't. Aaron at one point said he would do a physical debate with me. He wanted to do one in real life, not over the internet. And he wanted someone to organize it. And of course, that would have to be funded because travel would be involved. And I'm not sure whether I want to do that or not. It's still up in the air. Watchmaker said, did someone light the Ra signal? Now here I'm going to give a few examples of how humans are different from animals. We created taxonomy to organize our understanding of life, yet we are uniquely made in the image of God. Look at the two beautiful humans in the middle, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, and then the animals all around. The animals are much more simplistic beings. We are bound by a conscience and moral code. You recall the book Crime and Punishment, where a person in the book created the perfect crime and the perfect murder of a woman who was apparently hideous. So he murdered her, but he could not get past his conscience, which kept causing him to have a lot of pain over the murder and feel guilt. That is something that humans have and is unique. Animals might forcibly copulate one another, but they don't rape each other. Animals might kill one another, but they don't murder. These are human issues, because we as humans are uniquely bound by a moral code. It says it in Romans 2:15. We have a conscience which convicts us. This doesn't mean that animals have no sense of empathy or helping behaviors. Vagrant Sam said, hope to see lots of references to the scientific consensus on morality being displayed in primates, coupled with why you believe those conclusions to be wrong. Well, I'm not saying that animals can't show empathy. In fact, I've seen animals show empathy, and I've seen them show selfish behaviors just like humans. In fact, in any God-given world, should we not assume that animals would have a sense of empathy? The fact that people like to distinguish that and pretend that we are unique and have a sense of empathy and animals don't is rather silly. Of course, animals have a sense of empathy, and it's something that we do as well. Unlike animals, we seek higher meaning, purpose, and spirituality. According to Dan Pink in his TED Talk, The Puzzle of Motivation, humans uniquely seek autonomy, which is freedom, mastery, which is control over our environment, and purpose, which is we look for a greater purpose and meaning in our lives. All humans are hardwired to do so, and that distinguishes us from animals that are more extrinsically motivated by food or safety. We have guiding principles that shape our lives. As C.S. Lewis said, I believe in Christianity as I believe that the sun has risen, not only because I see it, but because by it I see everything else. Animals are instinctive, intuitive, and led by basic low-level needs, such as food, security, and if it's my dog, the avoidance of the unpleasant bath. You'll notice what she does here. When I offer her the opportunity to take a bath, she turns her view away from me and pretends as if she didn't even see me. And by looking the other way, it's as if I'm not even in the room with her. This is how she avoids the bath. Humans revere virtues such as courage, honesty, justice, equity, equality, and temperance. This is unlike animals. You'll see here pictured a couple of animals stealing some food. We can also understand abstract concepts. In fact, it's all part of the learning process. We start with a concrete experience, we reflect on it, and then we conceptualize, and then we experiment. For example, if I went skiing on a ski slope in Colorado, first I would have the experience of skiing, then I would reflect on it at night and think about ways that I could improve my form, and then I would conceptualize these different ways to improve my form, and eventually when back on the slopes, I'd actively experiment to see if my conceptualizations were accurate. Jim Major said, claims of higher intellect and morality are self-enhanced egoistic illusions. Abstract conceptualization results in frequent false positives in our perception. Apprehension of aesthetics results in genital mutilation, aversion to authenticity, body shaming, sexism, etc. I would have to disagree with that. In fact, when I talk about apprehension of aesthetics, it's not merely limited to the human body. I also refer to the type of aesthetics that we see in art, nature, music, and the like. And Jim Majors adds, and your example of the ape that can count to 2, not a great example of ape's intelligence and cognition. Some can communicate with over 500 words in their vocab. Some can flint nap, making tools. Some can even start fires and cook. No signs of religiosity, though. Well, of course not. I would also add that animals have very low-level thinking, and religiosity requires a higher level intellectual robustness. So let's review some of what Jim Majors dubbed self-enhanced egoistic illusions. Here we have several of the 7 wonders of the world. You'll see the Taj Mahal, a Roman Colosseum, and Jesus the Redeemer. We also have human intellect guiding things such as dams, space shuttles, bridges, human DNA, an understanding of human DNA, an understanding of modern medicine, and an understanding of our universe. We are quite unique in that way. Animals do not have these sort of understandings. Animals are much simpler. We're capable of deep intellectual reasoning and thought, unlike our primate counterparts. Primates are focused primarily on getting food. We're capable of higher order thinking and language. Humans are also capable of speaking multiple languages, and many do. Stephen Steen said, we are effectively biologically no different today than 12,000 years ago. The difference is not intelligence. Our biological differences are what has allowed the cultural and technology evolution to happen in a significant fashion compared to a few chimps learning to strike a flint. John V. said, could it be possible that with similar evolutionary conditions of our species case, a chimp species that strikes flints for the first time develop a language that they already have in some way that allows them to develop a similar culture to ours? Stephen Steen replied, no, it's more than language and culture. They need to undergo a similar change to the brain to get a better brain to weight ratio. Humans have a brain almost 3 to 4 times the ratio as our closest cousins. It is in fact not even close. Again, sometimes animals steal, they're able to get away with it, but we are not going to imprison this particular animal for taking a hubcap. You can see the difference here between an ape sitting in a tree and the Piazza Duomo located in Milan, Italy. The Piazza Duomo is awe-inspiring, and humans are uniquely capable of finding awe. A lot of times you could walk into the Piazza Duomo and its beauty will absolutely enrapture. It's amazing. And the aesthetic apprehension of animals is rather simplistic. We've sent chimps into space. It's not the other way around. We have an innate knowledge of our maker and that this life is a stepping stone to the next. As C.S. Lewis said, aim at heaven and you will get earth thrown in. Aim at earth and you will get neither. And he also said, and that, by the way, is perhaps the most important difference between Christianity and all other religions, that in Christianity, God is not a static thing, not even a person, but a dynamic pulsating activity, a life, almost a kind of drama, almost, if you will not think me irreverent, a kind of dance. Humans are capable of discovering truth, and Christianity is the way, the truth, and the life. Note that the Christian God is also transcendent to the universe and immanent within it. Unlike the pantheistic God or the gods of Hinduism, which is an immanent God, or the God of Muslim, which is a transcendent God, Christianity is both and better speaks to our scientific knowledge and discoveries. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you'll like and subscribe and do come again. And please excuse any of the sound quality in this particular video because I am away from my speaker and I'm unable to record with the proper speaker. So I've just decided to do this recording and sacrifice the sound. So I hope it's been okay. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.